the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
The Chicago Bears are part of this massive NFL controversy. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention on today's episode of Keek on the Mic because I found it quite interesting. As we all know, sometimes you deal with things in professional sports where, there's some conflict between, the owners and the players that actually make the sport go. And right now, usually it's in regard to some sort of money and colluding and making sure, I guess, the players are not getting as much money, I guess, as they deserve. And sometimes, owners can be very cheap. And it seems that now there's this big controversy going around the National Football League, and the Chicago Bears are actually part of it. So let's go ahead and break down what's going on in the National Football League right here on Keek on the Mic. According to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, there has been evidence that was discovered that a special arbitrator found the league guilty of colluding to prevent players from receiving fully guaranteed contracts, while the NFL avoided significant punishment due to a supposed lack of sufficient evidence. The reality is that it happened, and sadly, it's another reminder that owners will do anything to save a few bucks. This is exactly what they had to say on the situation of this controversy going across the National Football League. They said, although the NFL won, the NFL lost. As Droney wrote at pages 55 and 56 of the January 14th, 2025 ruling, there's a little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees and veteran contracts at the March 2022 annual owners meeting. In other words, the NFL wanted its members' teams to collude. That meeting happened only days after the Browns gave a 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract to quarterback Deshaun Watson. It also happened only 2 years after the NFLPA tried for the second time to make all player contracts fully guaranteed as part of the broader collective bargaining agreement. So, Bears fans, there is a lot to digest in this big controversy going across the National Football League. Once again, just like I just read on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, this was only a couple of days after the Cleveland Browns probably gave one of the most ridiculous contracts in NFL history, giving Deshaun Watson that fully guaranteed $230 million contract. And obviously, it has gone all bad since then, not only for Deshaun Watson, but the Cleveland Browns organization. So obviously, the NFLPA is all about the players. They are trying to change things where obviously the players are getting more money, and I guess rightfully so. They put their bodies on the line. It's a very violent sport. You can take one shot to the head, and that is your NFL career. So they want to make sure long term, whether they get injured or not, I guess these players are taken care of. But you also have to understand the NFL stance on this as well. You don't want to give a player a fully guaranteed contract and then they miss a whole bunch of time, just like the situation going on with the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. So it makes a whole lot of sense why the NFL is, I guess, trying to collude in giving veteran players these fully guaranteed contracts. When you look at the Chicago Bears point of view and the part that they play in this, to date, the Chicago Bears have yet to give any fully guaranteed contracts to any veteran player. Of course, there's certain circumstances where they'll give rookies fully guaranteed contracts. That's because those contracts are not as steep as if you were going to give like DJ Moore. Let's say DJ Moore's contract was fully guaranteed. Or let's say Montez Sweat or Jalen Johnson's contracts were fully guaranteed. That would be a whole lot of money and a whole lot of risk for the organization. Of course, it would be amazing to see these players get paid more money, but it's obviously a huge risk for the organization. And it does, make sense why the NFL is trying to say, hey, we are not trying to give players fully guaranteed contracts because, yeah, it is a violent game. We understand they want to make more money, but one hit and they can be out for the rest of their career, and you're going to still owe them that $230 million guaranteed. And when you look at the Chicago Bears point of view, they are not in a position to actually give any player a fully guaranteed contract because they are really not a cash-rich franchise, meaning that outside of the Chicago Bears organization, the McCaskey family is not making a whole lot of money. All their money comes from the Chicago Bears organization themselves. So from their perspective, they are not fully equipped to actually hand out a fully guaranteed contract. So once again, the whole Deshaun Watson situation kind of killed the NFLPA's push to try to reverse this and allow veteran players to get fully guaranteed contracts. I don't see this changing in the foreseeable future. Obviously, the Chicago Bears kind of play a big part in this because, once again, they have never given a player a fully guaranteed contract, much like the Cleveland Browns gave to Deshaun Watson. Once again, if the league, meaning agents and NFLPA, want to really push this, they're going to have to wait for the next collective bargaining agreement that is set for 2031. So it's quite a ways away. And once again, the NFL may get some backlash on this, but at the end of the day, I understand that where they're coming from. And with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, the Cleveland Browns situation, it's probably going to keep other teams in line to give out those fully guaranteed contracts. So we'll see what happens. I definitely find it interesting and it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that the Chicago Bears are already falling in line because, once again, they are not fully equipped to actually give out fully guaranteed contracts. So, Bears fans, I want to hear your take on this whole NFL controversy going on right now. Do you think veteran players should be allowed to get fully guaranteed contracts? Do you feel like that is fair, or do you think it's too much of a risk? Let me know down below in the comment section. But before I let you guys go, I also want to share with you guys what I saw on PFF just the other day. They actually gave the Chicago Bears some huge prop by calling the Bears' new offensive guard duo of Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson the best in the National Football League. And of course, this is very exciting news, but at the same time, we have to take this with a grain of salt because even though Joe Thuney is a future Hall of Famer, he has been a mainstay wherever he has gone, first with the New England Patriots and then with the Kansas City Chiefs. And even Jonah Jackson showing some flashes of excellence while with the Detroit Lions. We do have to understand that Jonah Jackson was banged up while with the Los Angeles Rams. And we haven't seen these two guys play on the Chicago Bears on the field this season. I think it's great that people are recognizing what Ryan Poles has done this offseason to really build this offensive line. And I feel like it's a huge call out by PFF and a really actually bold statement. But once again, until they show it on the field, I think this is far-fetched. Do I think they can actually be probably one of the best duos in the National Football League? Absolutely. But to call them the best before they even play a football game is a little bit far-fetched. Once again, I'm not trying to get too carried away. I do think they can be one of the best duos, but to say that they are the best before the season even started can be a little bit crazy. But Bears fans, before I let you guys go, on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, do you guys actually agree with PFF's call out that the Bears' new offensive guard duos of Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson is the best in the National Football League? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't